A predatory bacon has just been sentenced to 30 years in prison today, and rightly so. Now this one is an absolute bacon. He actually looks like a piggy. He is going to become a victim inside of prison, which I will get to a little bit further on in the video, when I'm going to tell you a bit about who he actually is and what he was convicted and sentenced for. But this does have graphic content involved in it, and some of the words I will have to try and disguise and use in slang term because of what this despicable absolute fucking creature has actually done is absolutely disgusting and appalling. And like I've said many a times on here, YouTube doesn't like you talking about certain topics and it flags up. So Nathan Bennett, 30-year-old, who was a nursery teacher, was found guilty at Bristol Crown Court of 2 charges of raping a child under 13, 4 of assault of a child under 13, and 2 charges of assault of a child under 13 by penetration. Absolutely fucking vile and disgusting. But what makes it more, when I read these type of stories and it says, it always refers to a child under the age of 13. Some of these kids were 2-year-old. So why doesn't it say a child under 5, not a child under 13? Say it as it is. Don't say a child under 13 because it comes under a wide variety in the law court. This should be a child under the age of fucking 5. And the starting point for such offences, for the younger they are, should be even bigger. It should have been life with a recommendation of 30 years. So the title I read out on this one, because I have had a few requests today and it is getting late on here now, but I thought, right, I've had another request, I'm going to come on, I'm doing exactly what the viewers want. The viewers want to hear these stories, so I've pulled myself around to make this video just for you lot. So the headline on this one says, nursery worker found guilty of rape and assault against 5 toddlers. Nathan Bennett, 30, was found guilty at Bristol Crown Court of the charges that I've just read out. And a nursery worker in Bristol has been found guilty of multiple counts of rape and sex assault against 5 toddlers in a case described as every parent's worst nightmare. Of course it's every parent's worst nightmare. Imagine dropping your kid off at nursery as you're rushing to get to work and your child is meted by that horrid fucking man. Those kids must have been petrified on a morning. Surely, I mean, if I was dropping my kid off at nursery, which I have done many a times, and if my kid looked up and seen that predator and cowered and cried, immediately I would think something's not right here. That disgusting. I'm looking at his face now. He is an absolute ponce. That's the only word I can fucking call him. A nonce ponce. Because you see him, that type of predator inside of prison will get prison justice. He will be getting tortured on a daily basis. He is the type that cannot stick up for himself against adults. But guess what? 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, he can do what he pleases because they can't fight back. What an absolute horrid fucking man. So Bennett from Corston near Bath began working at the Partoon King Street Nursery in Bristol in 2024. for one reason only. He wasn't there to look after the kids, protect the kids, or teach the kids. He was there to violate them. What an absolute animal. Concerns were raised in February 2025 when nursery manager Victoria Tutton viewed CCTV footage showing Bennett putting his hands down the trousers of a little one. Bennett was immediately sent home. Avon and Somerset police began an investigation which led to Bennett's arrest and the closure of the nursery in the centre of the city. During 4 days of evidence, a jury heard how staff had noted that Bennett would sit children on his lap for lengthy periods of time. A man in a nursery letting kids sit on his lap should not be allowed. Bennett would sit children on his lap for lengthy periods of time, wear a pair of trousers with holes in the crotch area, and seemed territorial over certain toddlers and their parents. What an absolute fucking beast. Sit them on his laps over lengthy periods of time, wear a pair of trousers with holes in the crotch area. One nursery practitioner described how Bennett had a jealous attachment with 5 children and would take control of them. Speaking outside Bristol County Court, temporary detective Inspector Lucy Ford from Avon and Somerset Police said Nathan Bennett was trusted to care for children but committed offences against the very young at his place of work. An investigation involving such young children was deeply challenging and distressing for all concerned. Of course it is. Anything to do with youngsters being violated in this sort of manner, especially by a fucking wrong'un like that, who would have obviously denied it and made these kids tell the truth, tell the stories. As young as these children would have been, they would have had to go through this trauma and grief and relive it and realise that something had went on wrong, something was not right. That fucking beast made them kids do that. During the trial, video interviews of 2 children in the case, again, he didn't even have the decency to fucking plead guilty. He took these little ones to trial. What an absolute fucking horrid man. The boys inside will be looking out for this one. Charlie's mother also gave evidence telling the jury her son had demonstrated how he'd been abused at the nursery. I got him to stop doing it. I asked him, when did that happen? He said it happened at nursery. She said the child had identified the abuse was carried out by a man with the watch. The mother told the court they immediately knew who he was talking about, as Bennett wore a smartwatch with child he really liked. Bennett had previously pleaded guilty to 13 other charges relating to 4 of the 5 victims who were aged 2 at the time. 2-year-old fucking kids. A man in a nursery should not be left unguarded with 2-year-old fucking children, especially hours on end for him to be able to do something like this. Given evidence during the trial, Bennett said he was exposed to a lot of activity on myself when he was a child. No excuse whatsoever. I've heard this many a times. I've heard this from psychologists inside of prison when they've spoke about offenders, bacons. And they've said, you do know that a lot of them have suffered that sort of abuse themselves. Well, this is something I can't understand. If you've suffered that as a fucking child yourself, you know that that is wrong. You know that that has affected you. That has fucked up your life. So then why would you go and inflict that on another youngster and put them through what you've been through? It doesn't make sense. It's no fucking excuse. You're screwed up in the fucking head. While he accepted that the contact between him and the toddlers was sexual, he denied having attraction to them. As stated, I think already, it was emulated what I had experienced as a child, presuming it was to make them happy and feel better, said Bennett. I think you're using that as mitigation. You're full of shit. It hasn't happened to you as a child. You're just using that as an excuse to try and get out of it because you would have researched how to get out of a trial, a bacon trial. Or your legal team would have said, have you ever experienced it? Putting words in their mouths to get them a lesser sentence, as they fucking do. And he's probably said, oh yes, it's just come back to me. Yes, I was. It did happen to me as a child. Can I use this as a mitigation? And the solicitor would have said, yes, we can use this to try and get you off as a lesser sentence, and it is norm to you. It is the norm to you. It's happened to you, so now you're doing it to others. Fucking bullshit. Bullshit. The defendant previously pleaded guilty to 13 other charges, including 8 charges of assault of a child under 13, 4 charges of causing a child under 13 to engage in activity, and 1 charge of engaging in activity in the presence of a child. An NSPC spokesman said Bennett abused his trust at the nursery in the most shocking and appalling way imaginable. Child abuse can have lifelong impact on children and their loved ones, exactly like I've just said. Has he not got the lifelong impact if it happened to him? If he did, he wouldn't be doing it to little ones himself. Absolute fucking predator, wrongin'. Yeah, where was I up to? And our thoughts are with the families caught up in this horrific case. It is vital they receive the support they need to process what they have experienced moving forwards with their lives. Now, that absolute fucking wrongin', like I've just said, he'll get his comeuppance inside of prison. Maybe when he first went in, he might have went on to some normal location landings and they would have found out who he was and he would have gotten some beefy piggy or some porky, should I say. It's just because he looks like a bit of a beefy. But hopefully he'll have gotten some of the piggy treatment, the pork treatment, because that is all that he deserves. The fucking porcupine monster. Right, I want to see if I can get this. Because there was another image, people, that I looked at when he was getting interviewed, crying like a big fucking baby. Now look at that. Keep an eye out for that one inside the prison, boys, because I'm sure you'll come across him. He's doing a 30-year sentence, so I'm assuming he'll either go to a category B or he'll go straight to somewhere like Wakefield, but he will probably end up in a dispersal system because of the sentence that he's doing. But again, cases like this aren't as high profile as the likes of Ian Huntley, Levi Belfield, Mark Bridger, Wayne Cousins, but it doesn't mean that they are not as grave and as serious and that they need dealt with, because that is exactly what happens inside of prison. Like I've told you many times, people, prison justice comes at its finest and at the very finest of our. Someone somewhere, probably somebody from Bristol, from where he's from. I mean, there's a lot of children involved here. And a lot of these children will have uncles, fathers, cousins, friends of the families. Everybody, just about everybody in local towns knows somebody in prison. And I'm sure the word will be getting around about Mr. Porky Pig inside of prison, and prison justice will catch up with him eventually, as it does with all of these predators. Now I'm going to leave that one there for now, people, and I was going to do another video, but disgraced actor John Alford dies in prison aged 54 months after being jailed for assaulting two teens. So the disgraced actor John Alford died in prison. Alford, who starred in the British kids series Great Chill and the firefighter drama London's Burning, was found dead at HMP Bure in Norfolk, England on March the 13th. And as usual, there's an investigation into his death, but because of the way that it's come out and because there's no police involvement in this at the moment, I do believe he has took the easy way out. And again, pedos don't change. Pedos are always going to have that preference, and there is only one cure for pedos, and we all know what that is. But on that note, people, I'm going to leave that one there for now. Hopefully you're still enjoying the content, which I'm sure you are, people, and if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your week, people, but most importantly, stay safe.